Alright, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy, the Hispanic American. Today I want to really explain why is it that so many minorities hate so much on Caucasian people, white people. Hopefully I could be right as a mediator, right in the middle, and actually explain this and break it down, why all the hate. My channel has a lot of videos calling out white people for the things they do. I'm gonna be real. It's almost borderline racism against white people, but I'm not. I'm not racist against white people. I'm just calling them out because of them being so how they are and how they do things is really not the way. So hopefully in this video I could break it down in a way easy to digest for all my Caucasian white people that are watching, because at the end of the day, you guys are the best neighbors, the nicest people when it really comes down to it. We'd rather have no one than you guys. So let's break it down after me leaving right here in America for 10 years plus. Let's break it down. All right, that's going on right here. Let's set up the story because we're in July and a little bit of craziness is going on right now. And even I have to call it out. Let's see what's going on.
It's not to say that we don't want the girls to be found, whatever girls that are missing or whatever right now. But you best believe, if this were a group of Hispanic girls out there, this would not be getting this type of coverage that they're getting.
How dare you try to say or try to compare such a tragic, truly tragic situation to some illegal immigrants who chose to break the law and brought their kids here.
There's people in it. Oh my God, there's so many people in it.
I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a whites-only girls' Christian camp. They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token black person. It is a all white-only, conservative Christian camp. If you ain't white, you ain't right, you ain't getting in, you ain't going, period. And I think that context needs to be said in this matter. It's not to say that we don't want the girls to be found, whatever girls that are missing or whatever right now. But you best believe, especially in today's political climate, if this were a group of Hispanic girls, especially with them being in East Texas, it should be most likely Hispanic. If this were a group of Hispanic girls out there, this would not be getting this type of coverage that they're getting. No one would give a fuck. And all these white people, the parents of these little girls, would be saying things like they need to be deported. They shouldn't have been here in the first place and yada, yada, yada. So before y'all come at me, before y'all start leaving hate comments on my page about, oh, these are just kids and they don't know no better, da, 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 da. The parents of these children who are choosing, and it is a choice in 2025, it is definitely a freaking choice to go into East Texas and to make a all-white enclave exclusionary just for white people, with all the black people in East Texas, with all the Hispanic people in East Texas. Somehow, some way, you have carved out an all-white, whites-only enclave in East Texas for your white children. Yeah, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. Once again, this is no shade to the girls. I hope they all get found. But once again, y'all have to understand the climate that we're living in. They want you to have sympathy for these people. They want you to get out of your bed and to come out of your home and to go find these people and to donate your money to go find these people. Meanwhile, they are deporting your family members. Meanwhile, they're setting up concentration camps and prisons for your family members. And I need y'all to keep that in mind before y'all get out there and put on your rain boots.
All right, first of all, how I see things is just because someone does something bad to you doesn't mean you gotta do it back. Someone's a terrible person, they're a terrible person. I don't agree with the deaths of children. I don't agree. Children are the most innocent and their skin color has nothing to do with anything of anything. They don't know nothing and they're not to blame for their parents. Another thing is, as much as I hate how white people do things, all right, chill. As much as I hate how white people do things, I don't ask for their death, bro. Like, are you insane? Deporting someone and laughing at their death or enjoying them dying is completely different, bro. Like, nothing is worse than losing a child. So compassion, you should be compassionate no matter what. You shouldn't take a moment like this to be make it political or make it about race. That's really messed up. That says more about you than anything else. You think I care what skin color they are? You think I care what they did? I'm a good person no matter what. I don't need to justify that I'm a good person. I'll just do the right thing. Why would I let anything stop me from doing the right thing at the end of the day? So I think this is really unhinged. I think this is unexcusable, bro. We've all had our problems with white people, but to be celebrating because they're Republican or celebrating the death of children, bro? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? You need to do better in life, period. Everybody lacks empathy and compassion. What the hell? Like, I might have been in a lot of racist situations that white people create, but I'm not wishing for their death or anything like that, bro. And I'm not gonna celebrate pain of others. It's stupid. I'm just calling people out. I'm just calling people out for the injustice. It's about justice. And celebrating people dying, especially kids, there's no honor or justice in that. That's just straight up cruel. Okay, before I continue, I'm Puerto Rican, okay? I'm from Puerto Rico, a land that has been taken away from us, Puerto Ricans, by Americans. Specifically white Americans, the wealthy Americans, the privilege of America, taking away the little we have. And we didn't have much to begin with. So that's how I've been affected in my life. But I decided to make choices to make my life better for my children. And it worked. I raised my children here in America. I made choices. I moved and I worked and I still work so hard to make our life better because I'm not going to hold on to something that it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause. So I moved and I made our life better. Thank God for that. So it's never impossible. You just got to deal with the situation. But I'm not going to pretend like these American white people care about us Puerto Ricans at all. As you see right here,
otherwise you're gonna die.
The hurricane happened. Remember the hurricane? No, you don't. You probably forgot or didn't even notice. But we're an American colony, bro.
A Category 4 storm.
Not by choice, by obligation, forced to be part of America.
Island, and as you heard, one official saying the island is destroyed.
Ain't nobody care.
Begging anyone that can hear us to save us from dying. If anybody out there is listening to us,
This morning, harrowing accounts of survival are emerging after Hurricane Maria's devastating blow to Puerto Rico.
Roads, now rivers, homes demolished. 4 million residents here are without power. 100% of the island. Officials warn it could be months before electricity is restored.
Vino el viento, se llevó todo el zinc, se llevó la casa con toda la pertenencia, todo lo que había dentro.
The hurricane, they say, was a problem. The greater tragedy is the lack of government action.
There's a lot of old people here in Puerto Rico. They need help. You know, it's no, we can't let them die. We can't let them die.
I hate to tell you, Puerto Rico, but you've thrown our budget a little out of whack.
On the 20th of September 2017, Hurricane Maria slammed into Puerto Rico.
So yeah, as you can see, all we had from America was the Trump saying, you guys are a problem. You're using our budget. It's not like we chose to be a part of America. It's not like it was our choice. And after stripping us of our land, just like Hawaii, after stripping us of our land, our resources, corrupting our government, making everything terrible for us, when we need help, it's not like you guys are taking planes and boats and rushing over there to help us. That never happened. That never happened. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that maybe a handful of Americans decided to do something about it. But at the end of the day, did they really? Puerto Rico is still suffering from like, dude, it's a third world country. It literally is so undeveloped. Yet, Americans like taking all the advantages of the island. So, yeah, like, it's all about being a good person at the end of the day. It's all, like, I'm not going to celebrate the death of others. And I'm not going to pretend like they care about us either. That's not true. And the hate towards Americans, the hate towards white Americans is really because you guys are so privileged and you know this. You know this. You actually go out of your way to say, you know, I'm sorry I'm so privileged. I'm sorry I'm so... You constantly, your whole thing is saying I'm sorry because I'm so privileged. You guys come out of your houses, which is extremely... You shouldn't complain. You shouldn't complain. And the problem is, we don't care. We don't care. You do you. The problem is, you guys like to step into our spots. You don't want to help, but you want to claim our suffering. You want to pretend to be minorities. You want to be in movements and be the figurehead of these movements. If there's a movement for freeing Puerto Rico, it should be a Puerto Rican in the front. If there's a movement, any movement, it's always going to be a white person taking advantage of the movement for their own glorification, for their own self-righteousness. And that's always been the problem. The problem is, in one side, you create the problem. And on the other side, you create this fake solution that only benefits you. And that's where a lot of the hate comes from all the minorities. A lot of the hate comes from, you're not really helping. You're pretending to help. And at the end of the day, if you're just pretending to help because it's politics or it's self-glorification, white savior complex or whatever you have, then just stay in the sidelines. Get out of the way. Get out of the way, because you're not helping. You're really not helping. You're really just helping yourself. And that's why all the hate, especially the hate I throw, I'm calling you out because it's true. You only pretend. You only pretend to self-glorify yourself. You come out of your glorified house, privileged life, with a sign that says, think about Puerto Ricans, and you protest. Like, protest is really going to make any difference at all. I don't think a protest has ever made a difference in the history of humanity. Well, after the year 2000, I guess. The thing is, you guys pretend, and then you go back, like, to your house and your life. You're not affected. You're not, and then you feel so good about yourself because, I am so great. But you didn't do anything. It's like Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez pretending to be a Puerto Rican from the poor, a girl from the Bronx, and then at the end of the day, what? She was always privileged, using us, using our life, our suffering, all the things I had to do to put my family forward. Lost my house in Puerto Rico, my home, everything. I lost everything, bro. I had to come over here with nothing, sleep on the floor with my family in an empty apartment, work my life up because capitalism is just slavery. Try my best in society to be good because we know jails are for the poor. And then we have people like AOC pretending like she's like us. And she's so privileged, and now she gets what? More privilege. That's the problem with white people. Using us to be even more privileged, or even more rich, even better with their life. All right, chill. I might have lost my cool for a minute. I apologize. Let's continue here with some enlightenment for those who care.
You can't accuse me of not understanding black issues. You can't accuse me of not understanding poverty. You can't accuse me of not understanding the history of this nation because I've lived it, my family's lived it. I understand it. I see the issues that we have in our country. We just see different paths to solutions. That's it. I'm telling you how I was raised so you can understand how I view diversity, equity, inclusion. Because to me, DEI is insulting to me.
It is.
I overcame tremendous adversity becoming a lawyer and a professor and a state representative, the first black Republican in 50 years, the first majority whip in this chamber ever, regardless of party affiliation. First one ever, regardless of chamber or party affiliation. And I'm viewed as though I don't know black issues, and somehow I'm giving up on black people. I've even had people tell me they were going to pull my black card for this. Well, come and take it. I wish you would. Diversity, equity, inclusion by mandate is insulting to me. And I'll explain it in detail.
Let's go.
Diversity first.
Explain it.
There's a great benefit to diversity. I believe that there's a benefit to having a diverse student body, a diverse boardroom, a diverse chamber, including the Republican caucus. I believe in diversity. But part of the government mandating diversity is it causes harm. It can promote racial stereotypes. Because I'm pretty sure if there was a room full of 99 white individuals and you said, oh, we at least want one black person in the room, and I get in it, you're going to believe that I'm not advocating for your issues, right? Just the color of my skin doesn't mean I carry a certain perspective. I think a certain way on a subject. You shouldn't just judge me by the color of my skin.
Facts.
Diversity can be beneficial. Forced diversity by government is prohibited. It's unlawful. We are the same group of people that ran to the steps of the Supreme Court when Plessy versus Ferguson was enacted, and separate but equal was the law. We ran to the Supreme Court arguing that we wanted to be treated equal to everyone else. Not special, not preferred, but equal. And the court responded in Brown v. Board of Education and said black kids and white kids have to be taught the same in the same classroom. We ran to that court seeking justice. And now the Supreme Court has spoken on DEI. It's spoken. Students for Fair Admissions clearly outlined that DEI policies by government are no longer going to be permitted in the United States. Now, I'm listening to members on the other side of the aisle argue for our institutions of higher learning to clearly violate the Constitution. A member today argued that we were going to take away the ability of our institutions of higher learning to hire with the focus on equity. That means they will be focusing on race, gender, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity. Those are classifications that are unlawful for our universities to do. So why are we advocating for it on this floor? It's not allowed, people. It's not allowed. Second, let's talk about this equity portion. Equity is just a closeted way of trying to put in quotas. That's all it is. If you believe that a room full of 100 people has to have 13 black members because that's the breakdown of society and you only find 5 qualified candidates, How do you get to your 13-member quota? You have to drop the standard in order to get more minorities in the room. Well, what does that do for the 5 members that got there based off their merit? What does that do for me, who has a Juris Doctorate, my wife, who has a master's degree, and has served in corporate rooms for 20 years? What does that do for me, who was already in the room? What happens is the other 87 members look at all of us as though the reason we're present is because of the DEI policies.
You see?
You diminish
Facts.
my presence there based off my merit.
Facts.
Because you want to try to provide for a phantom land where every boardroom, every university, every classroom, every chamber should represent equally the diversity of the United States. That's unfeasible. See, instead of saying, how can we find the
Why is that
extra
dude
people
laughing
to
in the
fill
back?
in the gaps? How about we actually solve the problem? See, some of us believe and some of us don't believe in systemic and systematic racism. I'll stand here and tell you, I believe in systematic and systemic racism. There are distinct differences. One is the system is put in place for the purpose of discrimination. One is discrimination is a byproduct of the system. I believe in both of those.
Facts.
The question is, what is the solution?
Facts, bro.
DEI says we will lower a standard to get the number of people we want in the room.
Yeah.
Why are we going to give an eraser to society so we can whitewash the blame from society that black people aren't qualified? How about instead you go and fix the inner city school districts that's represented by Democrat members and wonder why those schools are having reading proficiency scores 30% lower compared to their white peers, 30% lower math proficiency scores, graduation rates way below their peers. How about we go and fix the issue of why we're not producing more students qualified to get into college?
Because it's a
Why
problem
we're not
on purpose.
producing more
It's a
students
fact.
qualified to be hired as doctors and hired as lawyers.
It's by
if you want to
design,
have a
bro.
true conversation about getting rid of that, I'm all for it. And I work my butt off for it. We've done it.
It's by design.
We've done workforce development training, making it free for everybody. We're trying to solve the root cause of the problem. Why are we underrepresented? Not how we just feed them into the room so we can feel warm and fuzzy that the numbers match.
Facts.
That's not what we should be doing.
Facts.
I mean, I know what I believe DEI is. And I believe, truthfully, it is simply a way the left is using the minority community, the black community, to get their agenda in.
Facts.
That's what I believe. But don't let facts get in the way of my feelings. So let's just look.
I love this dude, bro.
Black Enterprise Magazine,
Let's
a
hear it.
staple in the black community, wrote an article
Preach.
noting a study where nationwide, of all chief diversity officers in corporate America, how many of you think are black? 4%. 4%. 78% white. Well, let's look at the actual study that it cites. Right? You can come and see it by Zippa, looking at these professions.
Let's hear it.
76.1% white, 3.8% black.
Wow.
So let's keep going. In 2011, 3.78% of all chief diversity officers in the United States were black. 10 years later, in 2021, the time of this study, 3.78% were black. We had DEI policies the whole time. We didn't gain a percentage point.
There we go.
We didn't gain a percentage point.
Who is it benefiting?
But during that same time, white women gained more in that same study.
Oh,
How do we
really?
know? Well, we can look at some other studies. Here's Forbes magazine, who actually, this is what the title is, who benefits from diversity and inclusion efforts? Well, let's see. It's cited.
Let's see.
According to another McKinsey study, white women hold nearly 19% of all C-suite positions, while racial and ethnic minority women hold only 4%. Overall, white women have benefited disproportionately from corporate DEI policies. Don't let facts get in the way.
Don't let facts get in the way. So you see, this is the problem. Like, it's fake. Everything is by design, manufactured. And at the end of the day, it's just white people benefiting. Just like AOC, I'm calling her out too, benefiting of the suffering of the actual minorities. Privileged people using their privileged ways to take advantage and self-proclaim minority problems to be even more benefited. And that's why a lot of the hate comes towards white people. That's why. Because you guys are fake. You guys are always fake. You're not truthful. You're not honest. You do it for social points, for self-gratification, to feel better, cozy points for yourself. And at the end of the day, the fact is that you don't care.
Experiencing devastating flash floods, which at the point of this recording have claimed 95 lives. What's insane to me, though, is to see people hear about the devastation, and then they say that this is what Texas deserves, and this is what even these little girls deserved.
I'm going to say it because y'all scary as and I don't give a damn. Them little girls, them people died because of racism, not politics. Boom, I said it. I don't give a And I said no. Nope. Because more YT people will have to DIE in order for motherfuckers to what? CARE. I said what the I said. I don't give a and minds are here with me. We voted the correct way. You reap what the you sow. Just the night before the flash flood happened, y'all were okay with motherfuckers being stripped away from their motherfucking families and never seeing them again. People being deported. Y'all were okay with that. Be okay with not finding Sarah Lou. Be okay with not finding Billy. Be okay with never seeing them again. I am so here for it. Y'all didn't give a when it was brown people. We sorry that it's white people now, but that's going to happen. This is going to be a repetitive cycle going to happen over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until y'all get tired. Racism cost y'all more than y'all thought. Racism wrote that line? Racism wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash. And guess who's paying for it? Okay.
This is deranged. I mean, there's no other, this is deranged, first of all.
But I do want to say, I don't want anybody to die. And I'm not going to celebrate their death. Even if at some point they celebrate the death of our people, it doesn't mean I'm going to lower myself to that, because I'm always going to be a good person. It's just the right thing to do. And we shouldn't, just because something happened to you doesn't give you the right to do it to them. The whole point of me calling this out is for education, so people could know personally, in my selfish way, so I could have a way to give my opinion to anybody who cares, because I want to open up and I want to vent out. So in reality, I'm making these videos because I want to vent out, and this helps me thinking that I don't know, in some way this does help me. I feel like I'm talking to somebody. That's the whole point of therapy. You feel like you're talking to somebody. And I guess this is what helps me out, saying these things and calling it out. But at the end of the day, I hope all children are safe. All lives matter. All lives matter. I'm very grateful to be in America, because as a Puerto Rican, I'm an American citizen. And it was not by choice, but still I have to be grateful because I've lived a great life, and I gave my kids an amazing life too. So how am I going to be ungrateful? I don't condone burning of American flags. I am American. Whether I like it or not, I am. And I love this country. I've lived a great life here. I'm not going to hate on it. It's just calling out people, no matter who they are, calling them out for the way they do things and their fakeness, bro. I don't want to get too crazy emotional. I don't want to go too all out, but I don't condone the celebration of death. I don't at all, you know, and hopefully some people out there understand where us minorities are coming from and why all the hate. Hopefully, like I said, this is educational somehow and helps to understand. Just treat us normal. I just want to be a person. I don't want to be a Puerto Rican or whatever you consider my skin. I don't want to be judged by that. I want to be judged because I'm a good person and I work hard and I do my best. And hopefully you can see that. Me as a person, not my color, my race, or anything like that. And that's what my channel is about. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.